Have you ever wondered what it is like to be homosexual in North Korea? Every June, the world celebrates the colorful Pride Month. Over the last few decades, there has been a significant shift in the global perception of homosexuals. Due to these shifting perceptions, adult homosexuals now feel more accepted by society than they did in the past. But there is still a country in the world that is not very keen on this kind of change. Specifically, North Korean members of the LGBTQ+ community are still struggling inside the closet. It is true that tolerance and acceptance have grown throughout time in this globe. We can't deny that every culture has its standards for what constitutes acceptable and unacceptable sexual behavior. At the same time, while some people support same-sex relationships and sexuality, others might not be as accepting of it, and North Korea is no different. In this video, we will go over the life, challenges, and hope for homosexuals in North Korea, the Korean Peninsula. We all know how strict the North Korean government is, especially since there have been countless reports about how life in the country is far more complex. While its neighboring countries are moving forward towards change and progress, North Korea continues to stick with traditions from years ago. Maybe this is one of the reasons why homosexuality is not yet accepted in their society. Geographically speaking, North Korea is a nation that makes up the northern half of the Korean Peninsula. The largest city and capital of North Korea is Pyongyang. South Korea borders the nation on the south, and China and Russia border it on the north. The Korean Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, is heavily fortified and divides the two. Similar to its southern counterpart, North Korea asserts that it has been the rightful government of the entire peninsula and its neighboring islands since 1948. Three members of the same family have ruled North Korea. Kim Il-sung, the nation's first supreme leader, held the position until he died in 1994. His son Kim Jong-un succeeded him as leader, retaining it for 17 years. Kim Jong-un, his son, has become so similar that it is difficult to distinguish between them. Moving on, imagine being quarantined your entire life. No TV, no internet, no TikTok. Over 25 million people reside in North Korea, where communist rule tightly regulates every aspect of daily life, including requiring permission to leave the country. Additionally, it is challenging for outsiders to enter the nation. Every radio and television is set to state channels, and anyone found to be tuning into foreign broadcasts is subject to severe penalties. Because of these restrictions, the majority of North Koreans may be unaware of global events or how the outside world views their nation. This might be another reason why there is little to no growth when it comes to acceptance regarding homosexual matters. Obscenity laws and homosexuals in North Korea. In North Korea, homosexuals face unique legal challenges not faced by other citizens. Although openly transgender behavior and homosexuality are not prohibited by law in North Korea, they are by decency and obscenity laws. The sexual orientation or gender identity of homosexual individuals in North Korea may provide social issues, but homosexuality is not prohibited in the country. The status of homosexuals in North Korea is not well understood. Although the nation's decency and obscenity laws do not specifically forbid same-sex relationships, there are worries that they can be abused to discriminate against homosexual individuals. The nation's legal system does not specifically handle homosexuality or transgender concerns. The U.S. Department of State claims that North Korean legislation does not contain any clauses that forbid discrimination based on sexual orientation or identity. Homosexuality in military camps. North Korean males are mandated to enlist in military camps. All enlistees, regardless of their sexual orientation or the gender of any sexual partners, are required by North Korean military law to remain celibate for the first 10 years of their enlistment. Male soldiers are allegedly known to routinely violate this rule by having casual relationships with both homosexuals and heterosexuals. Rather than being classified as a sexual orientation, these homosexual relationships have been characterized as situational sexual behavior. According to a defector, intimacy is especially common in cold, mountainous areas during the 10 years of mandatory service, when women cannot be intimately involved. Although not against the law, author Bradley Martin states that this kind of behavior could lead to execution. In relation to this, The Korea Times has reported that North Korea has executed lesbian couples who were thought to have been influenced by capitalism and had brought moral decay to the country. You may be asking, what's the connection? Well, anything that suggests capitalism is strongly discouraged in North Korea. In certain societies and faiths, homosexuality raises troubling issues related to personal identity. North Korea takes great pride in its cohesive ideas and behaviors. A crucial component of that propaganda is the mass games, which highlight the spirit of unity that socialism fosters. The act of 100,000 people performing a show that threatens unity puts the state's very existence in jeopardy. A mark of red honor. Was there ever a man who's gay in North Korea? Not to be too direct, but the record shows that they do exist. One of them went on to become well known and even wrote a memoir, A Mark of Red Honor, detailing his experiences. Jang Yong-jin's life began normally enough. At the age of 19, he enlisted in the military, served in the National Guard for 10 years, and got married soon after. Imprisoned in his nation, which he described as one enormous prison without walls, his marriage issues caused him to defect to South Korea. In the New York Times, Jang Yong-jin mentioned that it wasn't until he crossed the border and lived in a more accepting environment that he realized he was gay. Now that he has moved to the South, the 55-year-old is the only openly gay North Korean defector. He claimed that because he had no sexual attraction to his wife, he was too ashamed to admit that he had cheated. In June, he told the New York Times that he couldn't put his mind around what was bothering him so much. Jang explains what it was like to be thrust into the spotlight in his recently published memoir, which is currently being translated into English. Living as both a sexual minority in a heterosexual society and an alien North Korean escapee in South Korea, it was only expected that he would lead a double life. Jang adds that even though he is no longer under the DPRK government, being an openly gay defector is still difficult. In 1996, Jang crossed the border into China and spent the next 13 months trying to find a way back to South Korea. Still a no-no to LGBTQ. Has North Korea ever eased its laws regarding the gay community then? North Korea disagreed with the joint declarations on putting an end to violent crimes and associated violations of human rights because of gender identity and sexual orientation. Its specific motivations for doing so are still unknown. Similar to state-run media, North Korean propaganda consistently portrays homosexuality as an attribute of Western, especially American morality, something they allegedly detested. In response, the official Korean Central News Agency published an article in 2014 that contained homophobic insults directed at report author Michael Kirby, who is openly gay, following the publication of a report by the UN Human Rights Council on human rights in North Korea that recommended a referral to the International Criminal Court. The KCNA article continued by saying that the DPRK has never permitted homosexual marriage. Even in Western nations, pride in one's morality and sound mind has made homosexuality a target of criticism. Such a gay person finding support for addressing other people's human rights issues is absurd. So no, the North Koreans do not waver from their belief in unification. To make this discussion short, is North Korea starting to accept and tolerate homosexuality, just like the rest of the world? The answer is, once again, a big no. North Korea still finds homosexuality as a taboo. As a result, the country continues to control and restrict its citizens, not only physically, but also emotionally. Hopefully, the time will come when North Korean members of the community will also experience that freedom they are desperately longing for. And while we can't be sure when, only time will tell. How about you? What is your opinion about the unwavering ideals of the North Korean government regarding the homosexual community? Do you think there is any chance for the country to start opening up to members of the community? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more stories from history.